Welcome to Nugget 247 with Steve and Dana Groman, and we're continuing our dinosaur apocalypse nuggets. We started off with two older articles, a 2004 article and a 2017 article, talking about the devastation that happened to the dinosaurs of this impact that happened in the Yucatan. They talk about it being a catastrophe and volcanic activity, but let's go now to the current article that was in the Science News, March 2022.
That sounds good. Let's go there.
Dinosaur killer may have hit in spring. Scientists estimate timing of asteroid impact from fish fossils.
Notice right off the bat, it does say 66 million years, which doesn't seem like a long thing, except they do say it's 65 million, typically. That's a million-year difference. That's an amazing amount of time. But they say there's a solidified globs of molten and vaporized rock. Rained down on them, and the fish were still alive and breathing when they died. Well, that's the time of the flood, of course.
Which wasn't 66 million years ago. It was around 4,400 years ago. And it's just nutty. It says the findings come from an analysis of ancient fish bones entombed at an extraordinary site dubbed Tanis in North Dakota, the researchers report in the March 3 of Nature. And I want to go there. That sounds like fun. I'd rather go to the Yucatan, though, and check out this crater firsthand for sure.
The Bible does say that it came to pass after 7 days that the waters of the flood were upon the whole earth. And that's what happened, is the time of the flood. We have had the account for all these thousands of years, what happened and when and everything.
Not long afterward, all non-bird dinosaurs, as well as many other species, perished. Although the exact year of the strike is unknown, really, researchers now say they have determined the impact season is springtime in the northern hemisphere. Well, how they know this? Pinning down
But wait a second, let's go back to this now. The Bible does say in the 600th year of Noah's life, in the second month, the 17th day of the month. It tells us exactly when it was. And now all of a sudden they're finding it too. We're not going to go into this. However, the calendar isn't really the way it originally was.
Pinning down the season of the impact, which occurred off the coast of what's now the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, may help researchers explain the global pattern of survival of birds, mammals, and other animals following the strike. I can explain how they survived.
Yes, they were on the ark in the first place. And so therefore, when they got off the ark, they repopulate, and there they are.
For example, creatures that spend the winters in burrows underground would have emerged and been active during a northern hemisphere spring, rendering them especially vulnerable. By contrast, in a southern hemisphere autumn, these creatures probably would have been settling in for a season-long nap and perhaps were more protected. If this thing happened and it was this devastating, do you think they could have gone low enough to protect themselves?
No, especially when it's happening all, as the Bible says.
It just really doesn't make sense. But they do have a good story, and they're having to keep this story alive just year after year, however they can. And when they find different things or new things, they want to try and tie it to that and see how they can support their theory of this Yucatan meteor. And here's an illustration of it. The dinosaur-killing asteroid impact triggered devastating flooding at a site in North Dakota. That strike took place during the Northern Hemisphere spring, a study finds. A flooding site at North Dakota. Well, it was flooding everywhere, not just in North Dakota.
I know that I've said this 1,000 times if I've said it once, but the Bible, all along the way, we've had the account of all of this for thousands of years. And it is interesting that they're just now discovering what the Bible says thousands of years ago. That's the thing that amazes me about all of this.
As we have mentioned in the travel tips and the different nuggets, when you go to these places and you read the signs at the different geologic and geographic sites, that a lot of times the way they described what happened is what happened. It's just their time frame. A lot of times
Correct.
They have just way too many zeros.
Right.
All right. Well, thank you.